What's good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. And oh boy, do I have some good stuff for you tonight. I have over 11 minutes of exclusive footage from training camp today. I'm talking about 7-on-7s, 11-on-11 drills. We got over 11 minutes spliced up, put together into one long video for you guys who were not able to go to practice today. You're going to get the feeling of as if you were there for just a little bit. So we got a ton of stuff to go. And then on top of that, I mean, we got about another, I want to say, let me count quickly here. We got about another 11 clips on top of that. So we got about 11 minutes and 20 seconds of 7-on-7s and 11-11s for y'all to watch. Basically put you in the seat like you were there. And then we have another 11 clips from plays today for you guys to see. So we got a ton of footage tonight only here on Phinside the NFL. This 11 minutes and 20 seconds. Shout out to one of my mods, Randy. It's exclusive to me and this channel. So you're going to want to stick around because we're going to get into that as soon as we finish recapping the day that was. But yeah, 11 minutes and 20 seconds of real footage, like them walking around and stuff like that. It's chopped up so you see plays, all right? So I cannot wait to show you guys that because even I wasn't able to watch all of it because I had to record the finish line. So I had to chop it all up and put it together real quick. So, yeah, man, we got a lot to go over. But before we do, as always, shout out to everyone in the comment section already 177 of you. Appreciate all of you for spending your Thursday night. I'm a little bit later than normal. As I said, I had to record episode of the finish line. So we'll be going till just over after 11 o'clock tonight. And if I have enough time, I'll open up to you guys for a little bit. It all depends on how long it takes me to get through everything here. I want to give a shout out again to Randy for picking me up with all of the footage that you guys are going to see in terms of the 11 minutes worth of clips. It's going to make y'all feel like you were there, man. So, but before we get into everything, let's go ahead and do some housekeeping. If you'd like to donate to the channel, you can do so through the super chat. You can also do so through paypal.me/Phinside. So yeah, Scott, the finish line is on all major podcast outlets. We just didn't drop a episode last week. So Raphael, there's no Patreon news coming tonight. I dropped you guys some stuff yesterday. I don't drop every single night, right? All right. So you can become a Patreon, patreon.com/Phinside. You will get access to all the exclusive news. The latest news is on Najee Harris, Tua Tagovailoa, Tua's father's relationship with Brian Flores. A lot of interesting stuff there. And I want to shout out each and every one of the patrons. Man, over the last couple of weeks, we've gone up from 48 patrons to now we're at 92. We are 8 patrons away from triple digits. I want to thank each and every one of you. And I also want to thank my people out there, my sources who have been giving me info that's like not only dead, it's dead on, man. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people are going back and looking and seeing the info I had before stuff broke, and they're like, wow, it's already up there on the Patreon. So shout out to all of you guys. Shout out to each and every one of the Patrons, man. Let's go through all of 92 of you. Rhinos, and also with Patreon, you get access to becoming a mod of this channel. You also have access to film studies. I got a Raekwon Davis and an Xavier Howard one that'll be coming once the All-22's back up on Game Pass in September. So you'll get exclusive first access to that. I've also got a couple of ideas that's going to be strictly for the Patrons and the channel members. But shout out to the Patrons. Rhino Sith, Big Spec 94K all day. Ramon Casillas, Seth, Slim Pickens, Marino's Goat, your boy Trev, Josh, the homie Keith Davis, Jazza 803, Martin, Zovegas 75, the Arkham Elf, Irving, Drew Boo, The Show, Jawar Thompson, Jeff Jackson, Andre Villarreal, J Love T, Todd Labruno, The Enigmatic Man, Georgie Boy 23, Florida born, Kentucky grown, Michael Rodriguez, Dennis Klassen, Philippe Leduc, Tommy Flores, Ron Levy, Marino Ron, Anthony J. Marine, Brent Podfin, Joe Crotwell, Rhonda, Logan 15, Just Keep Waddling, Justo, Robert Martin, Regil, Kyle Bow, and then Drip Entertainment. And that's the first 41 of my Patreons. As for the other 51 of you, I'm going to go ahead and shout each and every one of you guys out as well. So, obviously, anything's possible. Troy, Nelson Alfonso, Ernesto Gonzalez, Rafael Lopez, Franklin the Jew, Timothy Saponenza, Dylan Tataro, Brendan Smith, David Figley, Miami Fan 113, Fins1, Quentin Martin, Ryan Williams, Mauricio, Zachary Greenhall, Robbie T, Daddy Dean, Brian Terry, Anthony Giandoletti, Joe Levesque, Jose Valdez, Junior Ronaldo, Guy Corner, Mitchell Gordon, Vaughn Green, Dennis Klassen, Derek Batten, Z-Man, Finn Shady 1313, Victor Fernandez, Maurice Perkins, Fins Weekly, Hawaii Dolphin 808, G Firm 456, Flip City Cruise, Bob Oliver, Ian Maggle, Spencer Richardson, Russell Grace, IT Respect, Garrett Lambert, Travis Brown, Manny, Nathan Berkey, Otto Bell 22, Hunter Chaney, Jason Patrick, Alejandro Moro, and Uncle Billy. Also, if you are a Patreon and you do not see a wrench by your name when you comment in the live chat, go ahead and comment right now so I can take care of you and make sure you are modded, because that is one of the perks of becoming a Patreon. Also, if you want to become a member of the channel, you just got to go look below me. Right next to subscribe is a join button. Also in the description is a link directly towards finding out how you can become there's a link that'll take you right to becoming a YouTube member, just like there's a Patreon link, a direct one right there. And as always, shout out to each and every one of my channel members. There's like 116 of you. With YouTube membership, you get access to a badge next to your name. You also get exclusive emojis, and like the Patreons, you will get first access to my videos, my film study videos. I got a couple other things I'm brainstorming that I can make exclusive for Patrons and members, and I'm thinking about those up right now. So I'll have exclusive video content coming to members and Patrons only as well. And so I want to shout out each and every one of my members, because just like the Patrons, man, you guys help me. So there's 117 of you. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Damian Deese, MF Fins1, Seth Twizzle, Law 10442, Timothy Whiteman, Yawa Bulla, Bruce 1, Foxing Around, Dr. Draft, Timothy Saponenza, Nico, Mighty Dolphin, Fake Spike 94, Jazz 803, D Ray 91, the homie Tilly, who I saw is in the chat. I hope everything's going good in New Zealand for you, Tilly. Flips Cruzito, Marcus 84, Ty Rhodes, Florida born, Kentucky grown, SC 42, Cody Patron, The Show, Joni Defense Nation, Kevin Williams, Rhonda, Philip Leduc, Zachary Harris, Dennis Klassen, Powerhouse TJ, Thunder Cleus, Birdman, 100 Ante, Ramon Casillas, Marino's Goat, Michael Simmons, Ron Levy, Chad Marcione, Todd Marine, Barry Bailey, DC, the homie, the legend, should be in the Hall of Fame, Richmond Webb, Furious. Yes, Richmond Webb is a member of this channel, FYI. Furious KLA, Rhino Sith, Irving, Julian, Scorpion King 271, Ty Jenkins, Whale 1, Innes Campbell, Mari, Fred Rivera, Justin Dunker, Cash, Zanny Jinso, your boy Trev, Caddyshack, Vince Forever 72, Storm Warrior, D Hug All Day, Daryl Canna, Big Time 666, Wayne Hedgeman, Quentin Riddle, Takumazi, Harriet Clements, Canadian Finn Gone Wild, Todd Beards, Pierre Lewis, James Steele, Dolphin Don, Jeremiah Kelly, Fins for Life, Big John Stud, Corn 72, Chef Jew, Tommy Flores, Robert Martin, Tony Asawa, Sinatra 305, Ricky Butts, Joel Fields, Daddy Dean, BK2 All Day, Dylan, Deus M, Ramon El Ortondo, A. Turner, Serge, Chalk Vanilla Straw, Rafael Ferrero, Sherrod Ford, Miami Fan 113, James Jordan twice over, Yvonne Ulysses, Josh Cheeto, Logan 15, Sal Powell, Joe Levesque, Robert Taylor, Jose Valdez, Big Spence 87, DM, Rock Hawkins, Franklin Lejeune, Kyle Bowe, Simone Sniper 13, Esteban Santana, Don Parlamento, Godovaloa, Stetsino, Les Palpaltalk, Robert Fuller, and Garrett Lambert. Appreciate each and every one of you guys that support the channel, man. All right. And then just finishing off stuff, I'll have a new sponsor coming next week. Sorry, if you're interested in fantasy and prop bets and such. Patchvibes.com, use code Phinside, save 20% off your order. You can get a nice tumbler like this. They got a bunch of nice t-shirts and stuff. Backroomcollection.net. I got to actually tell them which one I wanted. They asked me what canvas I want, so I can show off for you guys. Use code REASON. You can save 10% off of your order. So I got to get on that. That's how busy I've been. I don't even have time to holler at my sponsors and to get them to give me free stuff. So shout out to that. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, with 300 of you in the room currently. All right. If you want to join the $25 or free Phinside the NFL Fantasy League, email phinsidethenfl@gmail.com. Tell me in the email which league you want to join. It's a first come, first serve basis. People have been hitting me up to reserve spots. I'm not reserving anything for anyone. So it's simple. It's going to be 12-man leagues. And if I get a big enough response, I will start a second $25 league, right? So if I got 24 people that want to play for money, then I'll start two $25 leagues, but I'll have the free one going as well. So email me, phinsidethenfl@gmail. Put in the title fantasy, all right? So I know, because I know my email is going to blow up. So go ahead. I'm now announcing it. I'm going to probably be drafting in between, like after preseason game 3, but before the first game of the season, obviously. And it is IDP. So you have to draft your quarterbacks, your running backs, your receivers, your defensive special teams unit, your kicker, your flex. But there's also, you got to draft 2 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, and 2 DBs. We play with the big boys over here. None of that Fugazi stuff. So it is IDP, all right? So $25 league, free league. Let me know in your email which league you want to be a part of. And it is a first come, first serve basis. So when I check my email, I will start chronologically from the first one received and work my way up, all right? So if the 12 fill up the $25 league, but more people hit me up about being in the pay league, then I will put you basically on a waiting list until the next 12 fills up, and then we'll start another $25 league, all right? So there you go. That is how you can join Phinside the NFL Fantasy Leagues, all right? Because I know people have been asking. So there you go. Told you I'll announce it tonight. There you go. We've announced it. Now, let's get into the day of practice, all right? No, I won't probably be doing the live draft on air. I might. We'll see. Let's get into this right now. So, because we got a ton to go over. Like I said, we got almost 11 and a half minutes worth of footage. So we got a ton of stuff. All right. So let's start her off. Let's start off with the Palm Beach Post and what they had to say about today's practice. So, receiver Preston Williams, linebacker Landon Roberts are practicing this morning after the Dolphins activated them off the physically unable to perform list, where they began training camp. The Dolphins also signed linebacker Josh Harvey Clemens, who played 35 games for Washington from 2017 to 2019. He made 29 tackles and had 1.5 sacks. I hit up my boy Matt Valdivinos. You can follow him on Twitter at MV Scouting. He's a player, talent evaluator. He's also a Washington fan. And he said all the traits are there with Josh Harvey-Clemens. He's a talented kid. It was just the linebacker room was too packed for him to get on the field. So there you go. The Dolphin players not practicing: Albert Wilson, Will Fuller, Devontae Parker, Isaiah Ford, Ethan Carter, Brandon Jones, Vince Spiegel, Jesse Davis. Now, a little tidbit from Reason to you that you don't have to sign up for the Patreon to get. I talked to the homie Nick Hicks today, and I asked him about Will Fuller because, as you know, Will Fuller is a Perform athlete, and I was told that what's being reported about it being a foot issue is not what he believes it to be. What he's been led to believe that it's actually a hammy issue, and they're really not stressing on getting Will Fuller back because he's not even playing week 1. So Will Fuller's just like literally taking it easy. So Sam McGoveen remains on the reserve COVID list. Noah Benogany no longer is wearing a red contact jersey. Hunter Long still has a brace on his left knee. Brian Flores met with the media before Thursday's morning practice with the Atlanta Falcons. Here are some highlights on training for Greg Little. We have some familiarity with him from the draft a couple of years ago. It was an opportunity for a young player to come in here and compete. Asked about substitution pattern for Saturday. Flores says he expects most guys to play, but coaches are meeting Thursday night on how long starters will play. Now, Richmond, and Ballgame just finished recording the Finish line. We all basically believe that this is going to be the dress rehearsal for the starters. Because, you know, the fact of the matter is, game 3 is when they're going to want to see the second, third, fourth guys and see what they have. Shout out to Josh, 1999 donation. Thanks for all the hard work you put in this offseason. We all appreciate you, man. I'll appreciate you, man. I'm still a little under the weather, but I'm fighting through it, man, for y'all. So I appreciate you, Josh. Thank you. Flores says he was a senior at Boston College when Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan was a freshman. Says even on scout team, Ryan was carving us up. Calls Ryan a great ambassador for Boston College. Keynotes from the workout. Nick Needham left on a cart, and Lynn Bowden was pounding the turf after a catch. He appeared to be holding his right hamstring as he walked off. Now, Nick Needham as well. Nick Needham was carted off and then got off the cart under his own power. So hopefully both injuries aren't too much, especially Bowden, because, I mean, receivers are dropping like flies for us. Howard had an early interception. Kinley was at left guard as practice opened. Liam Eichenberg is the second-team right tackle, so they did move him to tackle today. Jacoby Brissett connected with Hunter Long on an underneath pass. Williams moved well in cone drills before practice. Calvin Ridley caught a pass in front of Xavier Howard. Then the two exchanged slaps on the chest as a sign of mutual respect. Ridley later beat Howard to the pylon for a score. Tagovailoa completed a long pass over the middle to Jakeem Grant. Howard tipped a ball that ricocheted perfectly to Javon Holland for the interception. In a goal line drill, Eric Rowe batted a ball from Matt Ryan intended for Hayden Hurst. Kylan Johnson also broke up a pass from Felipe Franks. Salvin Ahmed again, long completion near the right sideline from Jacoby Brissett. Myles Gaskin, drafters be warned, Ahmed is dynamic, and always possible Malcolm Brown stacks those 1-yard touchdowns. Myles Gaskin smashed a Falcons defensive end. He's above average blocker. Kyle Pitts caught a touchdown pass about 15 yards from Ryan over Byron Jones. Tagovailoa completed an intermediate pass to Mike Gesicki, but was accepted by Isaiah Oliver on a medium length pass attempt. I want to throw a stat to you guys right now. Did you know that Tua Tagovailoa has only thrown 6 interceptions in 15 practices? Like, that's really, really good. I want people to realize that. That's really, really good. That was only his 6th interception in 15 practice. Man, 370 of you in the room, go ahead, smash that like button. Robert Foster had a drop on a slant from Brissett. Gesicki drew a pass interference in the end zone on a pass from Tagovailoa. Tagovailoa dropped one on the bucket in the back of the end zone to Grant for a touchdown. Kirk Merritt caught a touchdown pass in the corner of the end zone from Brissett. Chris Myrick had a nice touchdown catch in red zone work. In a 2-minute drill, to conclude the workout. Tagovailoa hit Gesicki for a 23-yard gain. Found Matt Collins for a 4-yard pickup and on 4th and 1. But the drive eventually stalled when Tagovailoa threw an incompletion on 4th down. The Falcons' 2-minute drill was stonewall thanks to Emmanuel Ogba's 3 sacks, which made up for Trill Williams giving up completions. Jamal Perry caught a deflected pass for an interception to end the Falcons' 2-minute drill by the second team. Perry also had a pass breakup in the end zone earlier. So the defense showed up, man. Good stuff seeing Emmanuel Ogba going out there and just laying the wood, man. I'm really impressed. 3 sacks. Crazy stuff. All right. So here, okay, so starting from the bottom, the Miami Herald. 10:25 update. The Dolphins are removing Preston Williams and Landon Roberts from the PUP list. Williams hasn't played since sustaining a Lisfranc foot injury last November in a game against Arizona. Roberts has been out since a serious knee injury last December against Las Vegas. Williams immediately will join a receiver competition that has been missing a handful of players, including Parker, Fuller, Wilson, and Isaiah Ford. All 4 of those receivers remain sidelined Thursday. Williams played in 8 games in each of his first 2 seasons. He had 32 catches for 428 yards and 3 touchdowns as a rookie, and 18 for 288 with 4 touchdowns last season. Williams has started 14 of the 16 games in which he has appeared, but projects as likely backup behind Parker and Fuller, with Jalen Waddle expected to play in the slot. Roberts started 11 games for the Dolphins last season, but now projects as a backup behind McKinney at inside linebacker opposite Jerome Baker. Duke Riley has been getting a lot of playing time there. Roberts had 61 tackles and 1.5 sacks, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery in his first year as a Dolphin last season. Jerome Baker is at practice, walking off with a trainer late in Wednesday's session. Cornerback Javaris Davis, who impressed early camp, is not wearing pads and thus not participating in practice. Noah Benogany, who had been wearing a red contract jersey this week, is now out of that jersey and cleared for contract. Besides Fuller, Parker, Wilson, and Ford, also absent from the practice was tight end Ethan Carter, who sustained a lower body injury against Chicago, plus Beagle, Brandon Jones, and Sam Iguavin, whatever you want to say. 10:55, good to see tight end Hunter Long practicing some with a brace on his knee. Got a 15-yard pass from Brissett early in practice. He wants to get back quickly after what appeared to be a worrisome knee injury just 2 weeks ago. 11:05, Tua Tagovailoa was sharp early in 11:11 drills with intermediate completions to Jerome Smythe and Jalen Waddle in 11:11s, and a nice pass to Adam Shaheen in 7-on-7s. On the other field, Xavier Howard intercepted a Matt Ryan pass. Solomon McKinley replaced Eichenberg as a first-team left guard. That's an ongoing competition. Jesse Davis is again with the starters at right tackle, which has been the case since practice number 4. This is practice 15. Eichenberg was playing second-team right tackle today with Larnell Coleman at second-team left tackle. Jesse Davis is again with the starters. The rest of the second-team offensive line, Cameron Tom at center, Jermaine Illuminar and Adam Pankey at guard. So Skura wasn't even at center today. 11:20, Lynn Bowden fell to the ground in pain after catching a pass from Brissett. After lying on the turf for a couple minutes, he got up, limped slightly, and is holding the back of his leg with what seemed to be a hamstring injury. He left practice and entered the team facility. 11:30, Tua remained sharp in the second set of 11:11s with a dart on his slant to Mike Gesicki, but Myles Gaskin then dropped a pass. Gesicki then caught a short pass from Tagovailoa. Brissett delivered a sideline pass to Salvin Ahmed for a 25-yard gain. Ahmed caught it with 2 defenders around him. That's the 3rd chuck for Ahmed in the past week. Chunk catch is what I think he meant, including one for a touchdown in the Bears game, but Brissett threw a pick to Derek Abrams after Myles Gaskin made a great block and pass protection. On the defensive side, Javon Holland is sharing first-team free safety work with Jason McCourty. Jalen Phillips is getting first-team work in certain packages. Jamal Perry dropped an interception. The Larnell Coleman opened as the second-team left tackle. Greg Little is getting some second-team left tackle work. Noon. Tua Tagovailoa threw his 6th interception in 15 practices and 11-11 drills to Isaiah Oliver. He was pressured on the play and it was a poor throw over the middle. To that point, Tua has been sharp, including 2 chunk play passes to Mike Gesicki. Robert Foster dropped a pass. On the defensive side, Javon Holland intercepted Matt Ryan on a pass deflected by Howard. Andrew Van Gink also had what appeared to be an interception on the far field. Nick Needham is getting some first-team nickel work today. 12-15. Tua Tagovailoa threw a beautiful TD pass in the corner of the end zone to Shaquem Grant in 7-on-7 red zone drills. Also in those drills, Tua threw a touchdown pass to Mac Hollins, who dunked the ball over the goalpost for the second day in a row. Remember, he was flagged in 11-11s when he did that. Tight end Chris Merrick had a nice catch in the end zone, in red zone drills from Jacoby Brissett for a touchdown. Robert Foster and Salvin Ahmed also caught touchdown passes from Jacoby Brissett. Defensively, Calvin Munson made a nice play to prevent a touchdown in the red zone drills. Byron Jones was beaten for 1 touchdown, but has had a solid camp. Ben Ginkle broke up a touchdown pass in the back of the end zone. 12:30. In his final 11-11 session of the day, Tua threw to Jalen Waddle for a 15-yard catch, threw over the middle to Gesicki for 20-plus yard gain, then threw slightly wide to Gesicki, who was well covered. Then Tua delivered a short passes to Waddle and Shaheen, but Austin Jackson was beaten in pass protection on one play, and it might have been a sack in a real game. Tua then hit Hollins for a 10-yard gain on the sidelines, but a Tua pass to Gesicki, he was shaking his hand as he walked off. He might have jammed a finger. Then Tua threw incomplete to Gesicki in the end zone. Then he threw the ball out of the end zone on 4th down when nobody was open. So at least he's not holding on to the ball and taking the sack. He's getting the ball away when no one's open. And on Atlanta's final drive, Emmanuel Ogbah and Andrew Van Ginkel got pressure on Matt Ryan, forcing an incompletion. But Ryan found a hole between Jason McCourty and Trill Williams for completion to keep the drive alive. Williams was then beaten again for a sizable gain, but the Dolphins secondary then forced 2 Ryan interceptions, and Ogbah sacked him again to end the drive. Ogbah had 3 sacks on that Falcons possession. Quite an impressive display. Nick Needham limped off and left the field on a cart, though he could walk under his own power. 12:45. Here's how the second team portion of practice ended. Salvin Ahmed dropped a Jacoby Brissett short pass, and Brissett then threw incomplete. But Liam Eichenberg had a breakdown of pass protection, and the Dolphins turned it over on downs. Not good. But the Falcons' final drive ended with A.J. McCarron's pass was deflected on the line of scrimmage, intercepted by the homie Jamal Perry. So good stuff. All right, let's get into the Sun Sentinel, what to say, and we'll also listen to what Omar Kelly and Dave Hyde had to say in regard today. Yeah, Cap. Og was that dude, man. When we signed him last year, I told everyone I predicted double-digit sacks, missed it by like half a sack last year. The guy's got an impressive blend of power and athleticism. His ability to convert, speed to power and power to speed is next level. He's perfect for this defense. They need to sign that man. All right. Continuing on, here is what the Herald said. The way Emmanuel Ogbah closed out Thursday's practice, finishing a situational drill with back-to-back would-be sacks. It appears the Miami Dolphins starting defensive end is ready to pick up where he left off in 2020. Ogbah, who had a breakout season last year with 42 tackles and 9 sacks, wrecked the Falcons' 2-minute offense when he turned the corner on Caleb McGarry twice. He also produced would-be sacks on Matt Ryan in a situation where the Falcons began the drive trailing by 4 points and had a minute and a half to score a touchdown. The Falcons drove the length of the field, attacking rookie quarterback Earl Williams, but Ogbah sacked Ryan on back-to-back plays at the goal line, and the final sack allowed time to expire on 3rd down. Relentless effort, just keep rushing, Ogbah said, explaining his strategy. These situations help you because it's realistic. During the game, we always have 2 minutes, either before the half or right before the game ends. I'm just doing my best to get back there before the QB throws the ball. Because of Ogbah's dominance, the Falcons' first-team offense left that situational drill empty-handed. The Dolphins hope he'll be able to wreck a couple of offenses when the regular season begins on September 12th. A dominant season could lead to a lucrative payday for the 6-year veteran whose representatives have spent the offseason working on a contract extension with Miami. The Dolphins signed Ogba to a 2-year, $15 million deal in the 2020 offseason, and he's slated to make $7.5 million this season. None of it's guaranteed, though. Ogba is likely looking for an extension that is at least doubles his 2021 salary. Oh, my God. The top 10 defensive ends earned $17 million or more a season, which means if Ogba produced a season like he had in 2020, he could be handsomely rewarded as a free agent. That's why he should have got out ahead of that, man. Like, seriously. Ogba stressed that he's not focused on the contract or the fact he's putting himself at risk financially, but not having any guaranteed money left on the deal, which means he could suffer a huge financial loss if he suffered a catastrophic injury. That is why NFL players prefer not to play in the final year of any deal. The Dolphins usually finalize all extensions before the start of the regular season if they intend to do them. I'm taking it one day at a time, Ogba said about his future. I let my agent do his job, and I'm out here doing mine. Dolphins might be forced to play Saturday's preseason game again against the Falcons without two key youngsters. Lindbaum Jr., the second-year receiver who served as the backup slot weapon this training camp, and cornerback Nick Needham both suffered injuries during Wednesday's practice. Bowden fell on a non-contact play and left the field holding the back of his hamstring. Needham was carted off the field at the end of Thursday's practice because of an undisclosed injury. Because the Dolphins lack of depth at both of these positions, those two injuries could drastically affect Saturday's game and practices next week. Here are some of the camp observations today. The Dolphins offense had a successful day in the red zone against the Falcons defense, scoring numerous touchdowns in close quarters. Receivers Robert Foster and Kirk Merritt, tight end Chris Myrick all caught touchdowns from Jacoby Brissett during red zone work. Tight end Adam Shaheen caught one from Tagovailoa in the back of the end zone. Shaquem Gray scored one in the corner of the end zone from Tagovailoa during red zone 11-11 drills. Also, FYI, Merritt was taking some reps with the ones today. So he's taking advantage of some people getting hurt. The Falcons offense had the share of touchdowns against Miami's first-team defense as well. Safety Javon Holland, outside linebacker Andrew Van Ginkel, each pulled down interceptions against the Falcons during team periods. Jamal Perry ended the second-team situation period with an interception. Stock up. Saul McKinley was reinserted into the starting left guard spot Thursday and held his own against the Falcons' interior defensive lineman. Kinley, who has gone up and down the depth chart for the past 3 weeks, worked with the second team at left guard Wednesday because Liam Eichenberg returned to practice following his shoulder injury. But with Eichenberg being moved to right tackle Thursday, the door is open for Kinley to keep his job. Stock down. Being called up to the first team defense is a major accomplishment for a rookie, but Matt Ryan used it as an opportunity to turn former Syracuse standout Trill Williams into a target, repeatedly throwing completions on the 6'1", 205 cornerback. Williams has flashed some talent during training camp, but he'll need an impressive showing during the final 2 preseason games if he's going to survive the final cuts on August 31st. Injury update. Williams and Roberts were taken off PUP and practiced on limited basis. Hunter Long, who suffered a left knee injury 2 weeks ago, practiced with a brace on his knee. He actually caught a couple passes. Igmanogany continues to be sidelined by an undisclosed injury that has him wearing a red jersey, which means he can't have contact with any other player. Now, before we get into what Alain Papar reported today, let's go ahead and let's hear what Dave Hyde and Omar Kelly had to say in regards to today.
The second one, Omar. Let's just go right to what do you see out there?
I thought it was a better day for the Dolphins. The offensive line did a lot better than they did the first day. I thought that was struggle city. Today, we saw some changes on the offensive line. Solomon Kinley was back in there as the left guard team. Liam Eichenberg was at right tackle, second team. The performance of Tua is steady and consistent. Yes, he threw an interception today, but considering what he's got to work with, which is basically what he finished the season with last year, and Jalen Waddle.
All right, let's get into that because Preston Williams returned to not full practice, but he was out there. He's in pads for the first time
to work on
since last year. He just talked about he feels great, ready to get back out there. Confidence is still high. He's back. couple other guys are still, Devontae Parker, Will Fuller, still out. Do we care? Does it matter for them to miss this much practice?
No, it does not. And here's the reason why I say it does not. One, we know every single person that is out is fragile. Let's not twist the facts of the situation. Every single person, Will Fuller is fragile, Devontae is fragile, Albert Wilson is fragile, Isaiah Ford is fragile.
How about not get fragile receivers? I mean, can we bring that topic up?
They're talented, and I said coming into camp, this was the deepest receiving core that I had seen in my 14 years, and I would probably go back to some of those Duper Clayton times. Now the question is, not all of them are going to stay healthy.
Well, that's the question: is who's going to be there in late November, December, and you're planning for January? Who's going to be there in January for you? And we don't know.
Whoever the Dolphins can get back from IR, that's who's going to be there for you.
I mean, Albert Wilson was the star of Week 1.
Mm-hmm.
He really
shut it down. Shut it down.
Yeah. Now we don't know. They don't have to list injuries, so we're not really sure. So,
and I'm fine with them shutting it down. Tua's out here. He's operating. He's fine. He made it work with Isaiah Ford the next week. Then they shut down Isaiah Ford.
You don't believe that
chemistry.
Chemistry.
They have
working after practice, knowing.
They worked all off.
Matt Collins just talked about what you get by working out here every day.
Cool. That's great. Matt Collins still going to be the 6th receiver on the depth chart. Like, they have 2 weeks before the first regular season. Will Fuller is suspended for the first.
Oh, hold on a second. Let me bring that back up for y'all. Not bad.
Certainly the following week, get to practice, and that should be it. I agree with you. In fact, I would say with Xavier Howard, I'd quietly put him down too, because there's a guy with injury history. Why even risk it? But anyways, Saturday, what do you expect?
I expect a very physical team, physical game. Dolphins clearly showed you that against Chicago they want to work on their run game. I think that that's the right approach, because if you can run the football in the NFL, you will be a good team, and they cannot run the football or have not been able to run the football. Also, I expect them to start some of the starters, the Emmanuel Ogbas, the Xavier Howard. I could be wrong. This could be the game that they play, but I think they'll probably take that a third game as the dry run but maybe I'm wrong.
I'll amend that. You're running idea just a little. If you can run the ball when they know you are trying to run the ball,
okay,
and when you're at first and goal at the 1 and you can't punch it in like Chicago. Anyways, Dave Hyde with Omar Kelly out at Dolphin camp.
So I actually think this weekend is going to be what Omar referred to as the dry run. I think, and the reason why I think that is because game 3, you got to cut from 8 after game 3. You got to cut from 80 down to 53. You're going to want to see what the 2s, 3s, and 4s give you. That's just how I view it. All right. Here is practice observations from Alan Papar. So obviously we know who show up and who didn't. So, and see, like the Sun Sentinel just said that Iguanagni was wearing the red contract jersey. The Herald, the Palm Beach, and now Alan Papar said they aren't. So there you go. Kay Loxley made an impressive high catch of a Tua pass in the back of the end zone on a one-on-one coverage drill near the goal line, complete with getting his feet down and bounce. Kinley got the first snaps at left guard and 11-11 work. Liam Eichenberg served as the second-team right tackle. Tua threw a nice throw down the middle of the field to Jalen Waddle on a play where the Falcons were flagged for holding. Good news with Long taking part in team drills. He caught a pass to Jacoby Brissett down the left sideline. This is really good to see, given how scary his knee injury on August 3rd was. Robert Hunt stonewalled defensive tackle Grady Jarrett, Atlanta's best defensive lineman, in a one-on-one pass rushing drill. Austin Jackson and newcomer Greg Little also both had good reps in this drill. I heard Greg Little had a pancake today. So Tua drilled a nice pass down the middle to Jakeem Grant in a 7-on-7 period. Lindbaum Jr. asked for trainers after falling down while catching a pass from Brissett in 7-on-7s. He's still on the ground after a good minute, and now is getting helped up. He was holding the back of his right leg as he walked off the field very gingerly. Gesicki did a good job of reaching back to catch a Tua pass thrown behind him at the start of 11-11 period. Hey, guys, I might be wrong. Mark it down. Gesicki might end up having a big season. Go ahead, smash that like button. There's like 465 of you in the room too. Running back Salman Ahmed made a nice high pointing catch against two defenders on a sideline pass downfield from Brissett. Myles Gaskin pancaked an Atlanta defender on a chip block while he was engaged with Greg Little on a play that ended up with Brissett being picked off by Derek Abrams Jr. Javon Holland recorded his 4th interception of camp after Xavier Howard, and he has 2 interceptions in his last 4 practices. After Xavier Howard tipped a Matt Ryan pass downfield, the football just finds rookie safety plain and simple. Tua was picked off by Isaiah Oliver, the son of former Dolphins cornerback Muhammad Oliver. The pass was intended for Gesicki. Busted coverage allowed Matt Ryan to throw a touchdown pass in the back of the end zone to Christian Blake. Tua came back on the near field with a beautiful throw to Grant in the back of the end zone, throwing the ball before Grant was open. It was a case of the quarterback throwing his receiver open. So remember, that was what people were complaining about last year, was he wasn't throwing guys open enough. Matt Ryan threw a touchdown pass to Kyle Pitts with Byron Jones in coverage. Not a great practice for Robert Foster, who dropped 2 catchable passes. Brissett threw a beautiful pass in the back of the end zone for Kirk Merritt, who dove to make the catch and then did a little dance to celebrate. Merritt has been having a really, really good camp. Come on, Captain Kirk. Beam me up, baby. Make this team. Tua came back with a pretty floater to Adam Shaheen in the back of the end zone. Chris Myrick made a beautiful diving one-handed catch in the back of the end zone on a pass from Brissett. Sanders was perfect from field goal attempts, including kicks of 52, 55, and 55. The Dolphins failed to score in a 2-minute drill when they were trailing by 4 as Tua threw 4 consecutive incompletions. Needham walked off the field accompanied by trainers but stayed on the sideline until he was carted inside the facility, though he walked in and looked fine. Don't want to speculate, but we'll just say it's really, really hot out here, so cramps certainly would be a possibility. Emmanuel Ogbah had a big practice with as many as 3 would-be sacks, including 2 in a 2-minute drill where the Dolphins defense also kept Atlanta out of the end zone. The second team, Dolphins, went 4 and out in its 2 minutes drill, and on one play, Eichenberg ended up at the feet of Brissett, never again signed for an offensive lineman. Jamal Perry ended the practice with an interception of A.J. McCarron after the pass was batted at the line of scrimmage. All right, so let's I'm going to get in. We're going to go over just some observations on Twitter, and then we're going to get into, I got a bunch of singular clips of plays that went down today, and then we got 11 minutes and 20 seconds of 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 drills. All right, so we got a ton for you guys to check out. All right, so this is from Travis. One-on-one starting. Eric Rowe gets a pass breakup on Pitts. Had a pick, but Pitts broke it up. Byron Jones forces the receiver to run a secondary route, shutting down his first 2 moves. Now LeBlanc gets his hands on one for a pass breakup. Nick Needham chases Christian Blake inside, back outside, drives for a pass breakup. There aren't supposed to be these many incompletions in one-on-ones. Pitts catches one on Rowe, but Rowe forces him out of bounds in the air. Kirk Merritt took the ball off the helmet of the defense on a nice back pylon throw from Tua. Mike Gesicki fights through a lot of contact. Pass goes incomplete. Mike goes to the official on the end line and pulls the flag out for him. Fans laugh. Ridley has to restart a rep as the press of Howard didn't allow him to get into a route. I heard X was locking down Calvin Ridley today. Brissett is driving passes right under the goalpost, and his guys are making the tough grabs. Loxley, Merritt, and Hollins all pulled one down and got the feed in. Tua throws a strike to Smythe over the middle for 15 yards to start the team period. Matt Ryan finds Pitts over the middle, and the team legitimately thought he was a wide receiver on the play. The number 8 doesn't make it any easier. Tua's got Waddle on a crosser in stride, room to run. only the post safety to beat. Howard intercepts Matt Ryan. Ridley was the receiver intended. Ryan, under a ton of heat, tries one for Ridley, but Byron Jones elevates to get the pass breakup. Hunter Long in there for team drills. Not sure anybody who saw him go down 2 weeks ago saw him coming back this fast. Hunter Long now has a catch from Brissett for about 15 yards on the play. Eichenberg stonewalled Dante Fowler Jr., so that's good. Eichenberg and Robert Jones hit a double team in pass pro. Didn't look fun for the rusher. Brissett tried one long for Loxley, who had a step, but it was overthrown. First 2 reps in the offensive line, defensive line go to the Falcons rushers. Then Michael Dieter drops the anchor and doesn't give an inch. 7-on-7, Tua had a great rip down the middle, 25, 30 yards to Jakeem Grant, right in time before the safety arrives. Christian Wilkins' pass rush arsenal looks deeper this camp. Just did a beautiful double swipe to completely displace the blocker in one-on-ones. Jerome Baker carried Hayden Hurst 30 yards downfield in the 7-on-7 rep. No separation, stride for stride. Jason Strobridge, a wicked move to get to the QB in a hurry in one-on-ones. Emmanuel Ogba used the power move to go straight through the pass block in one-on-ones. Tua throws quick to Gesicki, ball a bit behind, but Gesicki reaches back and snags it up a team period, first down yardage. The Falcons defense has been flagged for offsides, encroachment, neutral zone infractions a lot in the past 2 days. Christian Wilkins flags down an outside run. His effort pops every play today. Tua has 3 straight short throws on target. Hollins, Gaskin, Gesicki. Gaskin can squeeze it in, and the short route to Gesicki was a nice job of throwing it before the blitz arrived and before Mike cleared the defender. Anticipation under duress shown off by Tua Tagovailoa. Salvin Ahmed gets a step on the wheel route. Ball is a bit behind him from Brissett, like the Bears game, I guess. Ahmed goes up over the defender for a hell of a catch. Crowd oohs and ahs. Brissett pass for Perry is high and intercepted. Gaskin stepped up to chip and decleated the pass rusher, working on Greg Little. Tua drives a deep crosser to Gesicki to open up the period for 20 yards. Van Ginkel gets a pick on the first play of team off Matt Ryan. Gaskin finds the edge off a block from Jesse Davis and Durham Smythe, and he goes all the way to the end zone for 60. He finished it in the end zone, at least a 10-yard gain. Dean Pease isn't messing around. Dolphins getting a lot of good looks at pressure packages today. Tight coverage on Ridley on a long ball from Matt Ryan. Ridley comes back and the ball is tipped into the air. Javon Holland comes over and picks it off. Tagovailoa is picked off trying to get one to Gesicki. Isaiah Oliver comes over off his man and jumped in front of the route. Salvin Ahmed winds a run into the second level of the Falcons defense, cutting on a dime. Calvin Munson fills an inside run for a nice pop on the Falcons' back. Dolphins pressure arrives. AJ McCarron slings it wide quick. Jamal Perry jumps it and breaks it up, one step away from a pick six. Eichenberg is getting tested today and holding up. Outside run by Ahmed goes nowhere. Shaheen couldn't stay on the block as Etheridge disengaged for the stuff. Christian Wilkins blows up a block, and the back reverses course right into the waiting arms of Jalen Phillips as they pair up for a tackle for a loss. A lot of stuff going short for Atlanta today, a few chunk gains, but Holland and McCourty have been on top of any deep routes. Matt Ryan finds Ridley in the soft spot. Ridley elevates and catches off his frame. Very, very good. Lots of short stuff in that 7-on-7 period with Tua. Completions to Waddle, Gaskin, Shaheen. Again in 7-on-7, Tua lobs a touch pass to the corner for Holland, who runs under it for the easy touchdown. Eric Rowe gets a pass breakup on Hayden Hurst in 7-on-7. Brissett with a strike to Jakeem, who makes a contested catch for an 8-yard touchdown in the red zone 7-on-7. Adam Butler takes a man for a walk in one-on-ones. Tua opens red zone with a throw to Gesicki. Flag is out at the 5-yard line on the defense. Tua throws a pass that brings the rain to Jakeem Grant in the corner of the end zone. Tight coverage, couldn't have walked that pass to Jakeem any better for a touchdown. Adam Butler blows up a play, forces it back to reverse, and there's Ogba for the cleanup. Matt Ryan has had a very efficient team, red zone period. Ball out quick, a lot of touchdowns. Salvin Ahmed a nice run off the left side, setting up blocks, weaving around defenders, 15-yard touchdown, and he goes in untouched. Brissett throws a gorgeous lofting ball to the corner. Merritt runs underneath it and makes the catch, surviving the ground. Merritt gets up and dances a little bit. Munson gets a pass break up in the back of the end zone. Brissett to Ahmed for a short touchdown. Tua with a pretty corner lob to Shaheen, who catches it just before he gets out of bounds. Brissett now on the corner lob. This one is a bit overshot, but Chris Myrick makes a diving one-handed catch. That was apparently beautiful. Robert Foster has a touchdown in the corner, wide open from Brissett. Van Ginkel in coverage in the corner of the end zone breaks the pass up. Competition time. Both teams are taking their respective sidelines. Likely 2-minute work. Tua goes to Waddle quickly for a first down to open the period. Dolphins down 4, 1:30 on the clock. Waddle gets out. Now a strike to Gesicki for 20 yards. Dolphins hurry up on the ball. Next pass incomplete to Gesicki. Tua gets immediate pressure off the left. Austin Jackson sidesteps it and checks it down to Waddle. Comes back with another completion to Adam Shaheen. 4th and 1 with 34 seconds to go. Ball on the 22. Dolphins call a timeout. Tua completes a 4th down to Hollins. First down at the 18. Deion Jones, fantastic coverage on Gesicki. Reaches around for a pass breakup. 3rd and 10 coming up from the 18-yard line. Dolphins down 4 with 14 seconds left. Atlanta then sends the house. Tua throws the lob to Gesicki one-on-one with Jones, but Gesicki doesn't see it. Jones tries the one-handed pick but can't pull it in. 4th and 10, game on the line. Tua gets time and finds Hollins in the corner of the end zone, but Mack wasn't looking. Turnover on downs after driving at 52 yards. Falcons take the ball, down 4, 1:30 to go. Ryan completes short, and Baker is there for the quick stop. Ogba has a pressure on one rep, then flattens the edge for a sack on the next. Ryan throws complete for 5, then has to throw it away on 3rd down. 4th and 5 from the Dolphins' 44-yard line. Ryan has a completion on 4th and 5 to Zacchaeus to move the chains. Terrell Williams in coverage. Nick Needham is being helped off by trainers. Wasn't down long, walked off on his own power. Ryan completes to Christian Blake again with Terrell Williams in coverage. 3rd and goal from the 12, and Ogba has another sack. He had a handful of sacks in the 2-minute work last week in Chicago. He did the exact same thing today and yesterday against the Falcons. Ogba then again, 3 sacks in this period. Eichenberg opens with back-to-back good reps as the Brissett-led Dolphins take their turn. Ran the first rusher on the QB, then picked up a delayed rusher after stopping the initial man. Then 3 straight incompletions. When the car got back to the locker room, Needham got off and walked on his own. Jamal Perry picks it off to win the game on a tip ball at the line by Zach Seiler. All right. So before we get into the highlights, just some quick stuff from Omar Kelly. Let me see if I got Patrick Laird has apparently been practicing well the past couple of days. Austin Jackson pancakes Dante Fowler and O-line versus D-line one-on-ones. Cameron Tom had a couple good one-on-one reps. Salvin Ahmed with his nice 25-yard pass from Reed Sinnott. So he was catching them from Reed, not just Brissett. Jamal Perry had dropped an interception. Adam Shaheen with a touchdown catch from 2 in the back of the red zone. Barrel throw, absolute perfection. Dolphins had a good red zone today. The tight ends absolutely feasted. Situational drill, 4th and 10 from the 18. Only touchdown wins with 9 seconds. Tua throws it out of bounds, not a throwaway, but he said he thought it was a bad sideline throw. 4th and 5 from the 44 with 7 seconds left. Trill Williams allowed a reception on a slant. Looked like a linebacker in his movement. And then he allowed the reception that got the Falcons to the 7-yard line. Apparently Ryan was just picking on him. And then Ogba comes in with 2 straight sacks. Brissett unit goes 4 and out. Plenty of pressure apparently on them. On one play, Liam Eichenberg literally got rolled up and Brissett tripped on him. And then obviously Jamal Perry makes the game-ending interception. All right. Now, let's get into the highlights from today, all right? And I'm going to full screen the 11-minute clip, all right, for you guys? So, here's AVG working on the tackling bags or dummies now. So powerful, that guy, man. He's got the hair of Jesus. Here is Preston Williams returning and just working out before just doing some light work. Good stuff to see him back. Getting worried he wasn't going to make the team for a minute there. Here's some pad drill. Continuing on. Gaskin and Salvin Ahmed doing some footwork drills. Get those knees up. Here's Raekwon with the tackling machine. Guy's such a monster. It's ridiculous. Like, it truly is. The guy's paw is huge. Okay, so here is Calvin Ridley on Byron Jones in one-on-ones. The problem is the quarterback has like 6 seconds to throw the football. Like, there's no way this is happening in real life. He's getting sacked. Like, look at how long. One more time. No way he's got all that time to make those moves in real life. No way. No way. Pressure is coming. That is really unrealistic. Here's Russell Gage on Justin Coleman. Nice throw, to be honest with you. Perfect for him to make that catch. Here's Kirk Merritt in the back of the end zone with a nice catch. Go up and get that ball, young man. Let's go. I believe that throws from Tua. Let's go. Attaboy. Here's Mac Hollins in the warm-ups. One-on-ones from Tua. Here's Jamal Perry making a play. Pass breakup. Nice. One more time from Jamal. Here's Tua to Mac Hollins in the warm-ups. Just making sure. I think this is it, and then we'll get into the 11 minutes. Perfect throw by Tua. Nice air under that ball. All right. With all that said, let's get into the 11 minutes of exclusive footage here on Phinside the NFL. Sit back, grab your drink, grab your popcorn. I'm going to full screen this. And we got 7-on-7. We got 11-11 drills. I'll give some narration because I haven't watched all of this, right? Like I just put it together. So here we go. All right. This is about 11 minutes and 19 seconds, and this is exclusive to here on Phinside the NFL. So here we go. Get your popcorn. And you're going to be seeing some of these shots from the stands. I didn't zoom them in because I didn't want the quality to get worse, right? So here we go. It's like 120 clips I pieced together. So Brissett's in. Overshot him by a mile. Now it's in 7-on-7s. Don't worry, it's going to go back to landscape. There's only a couple of clips. It'll go back to landscape mode, don't worry. I got that Bill Belichick hookup. This guy's in the way for a couple clips. Yeah, that was Jackson that got ran over. That was Coleman who got beat. Jackson threw the guy down there. Look at this, Jacoby. How do you get a coverage sack on 7-on-7s? Come on, Jacoby. Look at that throw, baby. What a throw. What a throw. Let's bring that one back. Look at this throw by Tua. Back foot. Corner the end zone. All day, baby. Jacoby aiming for the goalpost. Nice throw by Brissett. Sanders nailing his field goal. Just picking on Trill Williams. This is that 2-minute, minute 30 drill, right? Down by 4. Here comes the Ogba. Here comes the Ogba stuff, I'm pretty sure. There's Ogba. Ogba with a sack. And now this is Jacoby's turn. Drop. Bad throw. Pressure up the middle on like a... They loop the defender through the middle. Here's AJ McCarron in his minute and a half. There's the Malcolm Perry pick. So there you go, guys. 11 minutes worth of footage to make you feel like you were there, because I know some of y'all either don't live in the state, had to work today, whatever the case may be. There you go. A little bit of putting you in the stands like you were there with Larry and Cap today. So I'm going to upload that as strictly a clip for people to watch. And a shout out to Randy, man. I appreciate you sending me all of that, man. Like 11 minutes and 20 seconds worth of practice. Like, I mean, that was pretty sweet. You guys can go back and watch that after the show's done and like go through each one, right? But I will upload it as just a straight clip for you guys to see on its own tomorrow sometime. So I'll have just the practice up for you guys so you can watch it and go through it by yourselves, right? So pretty good stuff. Again, shout out to the homie Randy, one of the mods here, for hooking all of you guys up and hooking me up with that exclusive stuff, man. So it would have been pretty sweet if that was for episode 300, which we're only a couple away from. So shout out to you, Randy. I appreciate you for helping me out and helping the channel out, man. And guys, there's 448 of you in the room right now. I am under 90 subscribers away from hitting 5,000. Let's get there. If we can get to 5,000 by episode 300, that'll be pretty awesome. So appreciate each and every one of you that participate in the chat, come up here when I drop links, that smash the like button, the Patreons, the channel members. Appreciate all of you guys, man. So what's going on, dude?
Chilling, man. Caught me. How you feeling?
I'm still sick. It's all good though. Better than yesterday.
Nice. That's good. Keep like I always say, keep hydrated and stuff. But chilling, man. Yeah, good day of practice overall. Looking forward to the game. See how they do in the live thing. Yeah, especially too, because if they do the dress rehearsal this week, it'll be interesting to see the starters out there for a while. Yeah, it's true. And you know what? I would prefer the Cincinnati defense because we all know it's not very good, but we all know the backups are going to play the majority of that game. Yeah.
So,
well, we'll see how the backup squads do.
Yeah, for sure. Terrence, yes, I will be streaming my reaction during the game. I'll be going live around 6:30. Russell, what's going on, buddy? How you doing?
I'm hanging in there, man. How you doing, brother?
Another day, another dollar, bro.
How you doing, Dylan?
Chilling, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm ready for some football.
You and me both.
Ron Levy, how are you doing, bro? How you doing?
Doing good, thanks, man. How are you?
Not too bad, bro. Hey, I'm alive and breathing. I can't complain that much.
Any day above ground's a good one.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah, I
Hey,
hope you
but what
get
if you-
feeling better, man. I know
What if
you're
you
not
like to
just
go
kidding.
spelunking? Then that's a day below ground.
I don't even know what the hell that is, bro.
It means cave diving.
Cave
Cave
diving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Why couldn't you have just said cave diving, bro?
Because spelunking is a fun word.
it's actually the correct term for it.
Yeah, that is
Showing off his
the proper
intelligence.
term.
So what's going on, guys? The offensive line rebounded a little bit today. Did they not?
Yep, they did.
Yeah,
From
I
the-
mean, they seem to have that cycle. The only thing is they need to get consistent and not have bounce down days or whatever you want to call it. Regression days.
Continuity and consistency.
I like to see Eichenberg playing right tackle again.
Yeah, so would I. I would want to see me. It's time to get some reps with the ones. You know what I mean?
At least they're trying him at right tackle, man.
Well, he's not going to get any better if they don't give him reps.
Yeah, I mean, I would have tried him at left tackle today after Austin Jackson showing, but I guess Austin Jackson showed up a little bit better today, so not going to hate on the kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see, man. I mean, we got 2 more preseason games, and then, by the way, quick side note: I was watching that Patriots game. I mean, they destroyed the Eagles tonight.
Yeah.
Dude, what was up with Jalen Hurts?
Start to finish.
Jalen Hurts was dancing pregame, then
But they
all of a
said he
sudden
was
they said
sick.
ill.
I don't know. I mean, he seemed fine to me, so
That's weird.
I don't know. Sounds like a load of bullshit. There's probably something else going on. I mean, because he looked fine. He didn't look like he was sick.
Todd, what's going on, buddy?
How are you, pal?
Not too bad. How you doing, bro?
I can't complain. The week is almost over. I cannot complain.
I'm right there with you, dude.
Oh, Saturday. There's no practice or anything tomorrow, right?
No.
It's a day off. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
means it's just football. Watch it.
Yeah. So, what did you think, Todd, today about them, the offensive line bouncing back a little bit?
I'm happy there was a bounce back. I mean, at least we know they have a pulse. You know, I mean, as a professional athlete, you have to have your pride hurt a little bit after as bad as that was. So, you know, I mean, I'm not going to give them too much credit yet because, again, I mean, basically winning, 1 out of 4 joint practices where you don't get absolutely embarrassed is not the benchmark. But I mean, all they could do was win the day, and they did that.
Yeah.
So, it's a start.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Were you surprised that Eichenberg, that they didn't give him any reps at left tackle today?
I am surprised at that. I mean,
Well, do you think they even think about it? Have they thought about it? Like, I don't
They
know, bro. 'Cause
should.
I agree. I think that actually would make a ton of sense, especially with the struggles Jackson's having. I mean, he is still a rookie and everything or whatever, and I still think you overpaid for him. But, like, you know, I mean, why not? Right? So
that's the thing that's amazing. Like, there's certain guys on the team that, I mean, take Tua for instance. They basically never gave this kid a vote of confidence, put him in situations that were very difficult. You know, really didn't care about his confidence one way or another. And then you get a guy like Austin Jackson that they basically treat him with kid gloves. Like, he's struggling, but his spot is secure. He
ego
doesn't get demoted. He doesn't, you know, I mean, Solomon Kinley gets kicked to the 3rd team for a while. You know, Noah basically was in witness protection for a while last year. You know, all of a sudden, you know, but Austin Jackson, it's like, we'll just keep trotting him out to left tackle, like, you know.
Do you think
like,
it's because of where they picked him and they're in love with his length, size, and his feet?
Well,
Oh boy.
yeah, you know, again, it's the scary part is it possible that they don't think it's a problem?
Oh my God, I hope not.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. That's it's part of what I was getting to, right? Is like, why would because they're quicker to throw Eichenberg out at right tackle, and I mean, I could be wrong. Have they even played him at left at all? I mean,
No.
like I would, right? So like, they're so much quicker to put him out at right tackle, but he's like never played it, and they even said themselves, "Hey, he's not comfortable there." So I think the ego and the place where he was picked and stuff, I think that definitely has part to do with it. But like, why not at least fucking see what you got?
Yeah,
right?
well, that's the thing, and it's like you've
Right now,
basically made
anyway.
outside, Jesse Davis at center. You've basically cross trained every player at every position except Austin Jackson doesn't move. You know what I mean? He just does not
And I
move.
mean, to be fair, I would like to have guys solidified in their spots. But when the only guy solidified, well, I guess Hunt is pretty good, but like the only other guy really solidified in his spot is one of the worst guys on the line right now.
Like, job security by failure.
Yeah.
Aren't you guys kind of surprised too that Cameron Tom was working with the twos after the strong showing that Skura had against the Bears?
Yeah, that whole situation's weird. I don't understand what's going on where Skura's concerned in the way that they're utilizing him in practice.
That has been peculiar.
He's a veteran, and they're giving him less reps. I that's the only thing that makes sense.
Or maybe just continuing their laboratory experiments of different lineups. I don't know.
Right, but that's my point. That's my point. Like everybody on the line has been put in a peculiar spot at one point or the other, or has moved the depth up or down on a depth chart where you go, well, he's certainly, he's either exceeded expectations or he has been a disappointment, or they want to cross train him in case. Jackson is we just trot him out as the starting left tackle every day.
Dylan S in the comments makes a good comment because I said this yesterday. Why have they not even tried Jermaine Illuminor at right tackle when he opened the season last year for the Patriots at right tackle? It's like they're fixated on him being a guard.
I question their I don't know what's
logic on the O-line.
Well, I don't know exactly what the right thing is to say, but like, yeah, their decision making for sure, like, and the lack of urgency, like the seemingly just fine with Jackson being at left tackle, and not really caring to make sure you have a sure thing at right tackle, so Tua's blind side is covered, right? Like, I don't know, it just seems really strange to me that they seem to care so little about it.
Let me ask you this: if Bowden's injury is serious, and he's really only showed up in the Bears game, other than that during camp he's been silent, do you think he could be bumped out for a guy like Kirk Merritt?
Sure, I think so.
If Kirk keeps playing the way he's playing and he shows it in a game,
that's the one thing he needs to do.
If he shows it in a game, it's a wrap. I think he makes.
What do you think, Todd?
I'm on the fence. I all along I felt like Bowden is, even with a poor preseason, is going to make it. Just based on the trade, what they saw last year, him being the only competent guy late in the season last year, that the fact that I don't see us using him at running back, but you can, justify him as a running back ad. I thought he was safe, but the injury, I mean, the negativity is starting to pile up, not really showing up and then injured. And then you have, like you said, Merritt has just been steady all the way through. And they clearly like him because, they've moved up. They've invested in him, and he has moved up. So it's, they definitely see.
What my problem is, Todd? You could make the argument that next to Waddle, he's the best athlete on the team. Right. I don't want him to get cut and put on the practice squad because one of these teams from these joint practices might swoop in and like he will not make the practice squad.
No, he won't. He will be picked up the minute he hits waivers.
Watch him be picked up by the Bills or the Patriots.
I mean, just losing him, period, would suck.
There's 31 teams that
Yeah.
are sitting waiting to see what we do with our receivers.
All the team scouting departments right now are watching all of this film and stuff that's going out, right, from these preseason games. That's the thing, though, is Kirk Merritt has to he had some opportunities that he missed in the last preseason game, so he's gotta
But
show
Reed
through.
Sitter was throwing him the fucking football.
That's fair,
you know?
and it's fair. It's fair. It's
Because
fair.
here's what I was saying. Think about this: with now Bowden going down, Isaiah Ford's out, Fuller, Parker, Wilson.
Alan Hearns is gone.
It might not be far. Yeah, Alan Hearns is gone. It might not be far fetched to think Merritt might get some snaps with the ones on Saturday.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, then he's got to make some plays. Because that's where it really counts.
Because
right?
him and Tua, if you go back to last year's training camp, him and Tua were starting to build chemistry and ball out when Tua was throwing to the 2s, 3s, and 4s while Fitz was working with the 1s. And then Merritt got hurt. And then Merritt, after he recovered, got COVID. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was starting. Him and Tua were building a rapport, and they've been working together all offseason that performed.
And if you notice on his deep route, he's getting separation.
Oh, yeah. Was it yesterday where he beat someone by like 5 yards?
Yeah.
He's
getting separation on them deep routes.
Dude, he ran like he ran a 4.33.
Yeah, but the thing is, he reminds me a lot of what Waddle does too, because he can cut on a dime at full speed. You look at his highlights; he was making moves at full speed. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, I think he's taken, made the most out of the opportunities with all of the injuries, which, I've said is one of my biggest concerns right now is all of these injuries. But yeah, I mean, he's certainly taken care of business when he's had his opportunity. So I think he's right there at the top of the list for, behind all the guys that are out to be up there, and he certainly could have a roster spot.
Didn't Tua throw him a pass today?
Yeah, on
so he was out there with the ones for a
he was
bit.
with the ones, but the pass you're talking about was in one-on-ones where Tua threw it to him.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, what's really impressive, and we don't talk about it enough. I always assumed Matt Collins would make this team just because of his value on special teams.
As a gunner.
Right. But the fact that by all accounts and what we have seen, he's absolutely solidified himself as one of the 6 best wide receivers is pretty impressive.
I think
he got to kill that Todd. He got to kill that Duncan shit though, because he's gonna get flagged.
Flagging. He's gonna hurt himself.
If EM is out there, you were right about Mac. I was wrong. I admit to it.
Honestly, Mac has capability of being a number 2.
Yeah. They need to calm down.
He also offers you as a hybrid tight end too.
Yeah, that is true.
He's a very good blocker, that guy too.
Whoever we let go at receiver is going to be getting picked up. I'll tell you that right now.
I feel like we have 10 legitimate NFL wide receivers.
So Todd, how many would you carry?
7.
I would carry 7 too.
Yeah. The only reason why,
the health reasons are still there.
Yeah, and you can even make arguments in large part because of that to keep maybe even 8. But the only problem I have with that is the fact that depth on this team is one of my biggest concerns, and so you do need some. Like, we've had a bunch of injuries and stuff at linebacker. Guavin's on the COVID list right now. The depth on the offensive line is. So.
Right, but the problem that I have with that, and I agree with you, Dylan, is I, especially prior to a trade deadline, I don't want to cut an NFL starting caliber player.
I get you
for depth.
It's a good argument
for a 7th or 8th offensive lineman that doesn't belong in the league. We're just keeping them for because it feels like we're supposed to have that kind of depth.
Well,
we're cutting.
They also could though, like, make some legitimate move and get a legitimate tackle or something for the offensive line, and then it would be more worth it, right?
Right.
But yeah, no, I totally get you. I mean, like, if it's Adam Pankey, no, like, I'm not keeping Adam Pankey, right?
Let me ask you
something. They should have cut him the first time.
Would any of you dangle Parker? With the way our receiver room is looking, with the way our receivers are, would you dangle Parker?
Yes.
For tackle, yeah.
Yeah, I would too, because I would
Yeah.
use that money to extend Gasecki and Ogba.
I mean, get a legitimate tackle.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, get a legitimate tackle. Or
Because I'm telling you, you say everybody talks about Parker has that height and all that stuff.
I
So
would.
does
Are
Matt
they
Collins.
gonna?
So does Matt Collins, and he's balling out.
Preston
Williams.
Receiver cheaper.
Are they gonna though? I don't know. I mean, I would.
I would too.
But
I don't know, man. I don't know if, like, availability is the best ability, and like, how much are we really going to get with Parker sitting on the sideline again?
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
And how much money does that save us?
Doesn't
It
that save us
would,
like
but
Like
12?
11 million, I think it is.
12 million for Parker. Yeah, I mean it would, but are we gonna? That's the thing though. Is would we get? What are we gonna get back, and would we be able to get a legitimate right tackle or or a tackle, left tackle, either one? I mean, I don't know.
I just see it as you could get more for him than Grant.
Probably,
Yeah.
but
New Orleans needs receivers, right?
Bad.
They got any tackles?
Problem is,
So if you trade
That's the
Jakeem Grant, you save 9.36 million. 9.386 million.
I was having this conversation with someone yesterday. Reason,
Grant?
what do you think Grant's value? Oh, okay. Obviously, we don't know what they think their value is. What would you say his value is?
At best, a fifth.
See,
What about
I don't move
Parker?
him for a fifth. I agree, but I don't move him for a fifth.
What about Parker? What do you think?
a third.
Yeah, you could get a desperate team to trade a third for him.
That's probably best. I mean, you're not going to get a first or a second.
See, here's my problem. Going back to this, Todd and Dylan and Russell, all of you guys.
By the
Here's
way,
my-
Reese, just call me T if it gets
There you go.
confusing.
All right, okay, there you go. Okay, here's my issue.
Funny thing is, my middle name's Todd. Sorry,
Even
I had to throw that.
even Jakeem Grant, we've got guys that can do what he offers us.
Right.
Do I want to give up on an athlete and a freak like Kirk Merritt for Jakeem Grant, who we don't know what his ceiling is yet? He's still, there's still that hope of potential and growth with him where I think we can all admit Grant's bumped his head on that short little leprechaun ceiling. That you know what I mean?
He's tapped out
Grant,
on that.
Grant kind of has a scary side too, because it's not just what Grant can't do. He's had the ability to hurt us. I mean, he could hurt you. He could absolutely be a drive killer, a game killer.
Mhm.
With his mistakes. The highs are high, and he is a legitimate all-pro caliber returner. But it's not just what he doesn't produce as a receiver. It's the Cincinnati game, it didn't come back to bite us. But you know what? Just as far as look at the difference, the perception of Tua is numbers-wise if that pass hits against Cincinnati.
Reason, if you were making
agree,
the decision right now, what would your 7 be that you would keep?
This is going to catch some controversy. Parker, unless I can trade him, but let's say we can't trade him. We're just going off cuts. Parker, Preston, Waddle, Matt Collins, my boy Albert Wilson. Right? I'm sorry. I'm keeping Kirk Merritt. I am not letting him go out the door. And then my 7th is probably going to be Lynn Bowden Jr.
What about
Will Fuller? Will Fuller. My bad. Will Fuller.
I was about to say.
So Bowden doesn't make it for me, and Jakeem Grant doesn't make it for me.
I would, and
Nor Foster.
I agree with everything.
Yeah, Foster, whatever.
I agree with everything you just said, Reason. But the thing I would do, honestly, and I know I don't like Grant. I've been on the get rid of Grant train for a long time. But I would rather keep Grant as my 7th receiver than Preston as my not Preston, but DVP as my number one because I can't count on DVP being on the field. But keeping Grant as my 7th receiver.
Yeah, but I'm not cutting him, right? I'm talking about
right. No.
If I could trade DVP, cool.
I would. Sometimes you might have to take a little less to put more upside on your field. You know what I mean? And I think Kirk Merritt could have a bigger upside. I already think DVP's hit his limit too, and him not staying healthy is a big problem. So I would rather keep Grant as my 7th receiver than DVP as my number one because at least Grant I can keep Waddle off of punt returns.
Like the three calls I'm making is the Saints about DVP. See if I can get if I can package him with a pick, and I can get Ruiz or McCoy so I can slot him in at center. All right, because that'll change the dynamic of my offensive line right away.
Yep.
Or I'm calling the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm saying you guys like short, fast guys. Here's Grant and a pick. I want Mike Remmers because you got my boy Lucas Niang's won that job. And the other team I'm calling about DVP, the Baltimore Ravens. With Rashad Bateman going down, you lost that big body guy right now. Yeah, he's hurt.
They're losing wide receivers fast.
So I'm hitting them up and I'm saying, what do you got to offer?
He worked with Jackson in college real well.
Yeah, at Louisville.
Like they're down 5 receivers, and Mark Andrews went down today too.
Well,
oh wow.
I mean, unfortunately, Reason, you're not in their front office right now. So, do we think they're gonna do any of that? I mean, that'd be great. You know,
Reason, do you see my point with that? Keeping Grant as the number 7 over DVP as the number 1, or am I just way out of line on that?
If I can trade DVP, I get what you're saying, but I'm not cutting DVP.
Right,
Yeah,
I wouldn't cut him either. But I'm just saying I would do whatever even if I had to take a little less on the trade to get Merritt on the field and to see what upside he has, I would do it just because. Like I said, Grant's that protection for Waddle on return. I'm sorry, that's what I would do.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, but it's would have to require Parker being traded.
So don't you think DVP and Preston Williams have the same attributes, and it's kind of like keeping
that's it. They cancel each other out.
And receiver, so why not? And they're both
and Matt Collins.
Yeah, they even have, I was gonna say, Ron, they even have the attributes down to their injuries.
Right, exactly. So why not keep the cheaper undrafted guy and trade for DVP, and that solves your problem.
Yeah,
well, not just that. We don't know what Preston's complete upside is either yet.
Like, here's my thing too, and I brought this up multiple times. Do you realize we have the highest paid receiving core in the NFL right now? $45 million compared to the Bucs who have 44. Now, I look around and I don't see an Antonio Brown, a Mike Evans, or a Chris Godwin right now. So,
I mean, look, all this hypothetical talk is great. I mean, I'd love to see them make some kind of move like that, but I don't know. I mean, we're coming up on the season. So.
Like you might have to go back to what Todd said. Like, do we want to keep a fucking Sam Iglovine or a Calvin Munson, or do we want to keep an 8th receiver?
Oh God,
I think Greer's waiting for some desperate team after injuries.
Do you want to keep an Adam Pankey, or do you want to keep a 8th receiver? You know what I mean?
8th receiver over Adam Pankey.
Yeah, I'm keeping the receiver personally. I mean,
like, you know what the problem with Preston is? Preston, if he stayed healthy, would probably have real high trade value, but he can't stay healthy.
Right. I mean, do you know how dominant Preston's been when he has played in practice, for the fact that he's just being penciled in.
Dude, remember last year, Todd? All the beat reporters were telling us that between him and Parker, we were going to have 2,000-yard receivers last year.
I mean, they made people really think that we screwed up the Byron Jones signing, but because Preston just destroyed him.
Buddy, do you remember even Kirk Merritt was torching Byron Jones last year in training camp?
But think about how good Preston Williams has been, even for their eyes.
And we don't know his ceiling.
Right. The fact that, I mean, we just basically take it as a foregone conclusion that this guy's on the roster. He can't stay healthy. He hasn't practiced but an hour and a half all season, and we're in this room, we're still going, yeah, he's got a job. He must be very impressive when they look at him.
But here's the thing.
Here's
the thing. His injury last year, any one of us would have been injured with Christian Wilkinson jumping on you. He was a freak thing.
Yes, but he was
he got
very adamant today.
He got gator rolled right before Wilkins jumped on him, though. So I don't know if the gator roll had anything to do with it.
Did you see Preston came out and was adamant today that Christian Wilkins had nothing to do with the injury?
Yeah, it was the gator roll. I'm telling you, I've been saying from the beginning it was that gator roll.
That may be true.
That weight didn't help either.
Yeah, no. Christian Wilkins still has to calm down with that, because if that's the case, if he got that injury, then maybe it got a little even more injured after Christian Wilkins put all that damn weight on him. So you still got to be careful with that. But he said it wasn't him, and I think there's reason to believe that. So
he might have also been taking the heat off of Christian too about it, saying, you know what I mean? You never know. No one will know.
Let's just be safe and not jump on people.
What's going on, fellas?
Yeah. I just. So, what are your thoughts on the whole receiver thing, bro?
Oh man. Kind of got to see how it's going to play out through the preseason.
Wait.
It helped us with Alan Hearns getting. I mean, it didn't help us, but
some clarity.
I didn't hear your Fins for life.
Yeah.
I don't want Michael Thomas, man. I don't want Michael Thomas.
No, we wouldn't trade for another receiver. We're trying to get one out of here.
No, they'll just sign back end roster ones.
See, my whole thing is I don't get Dolphin fans to some extent here. I always say you put the logo over the player unless that player is transcendent. What is the infatuation with Parker, who's only ever had one 1,000-yard season?
I consider him a ball. I consider him a bust.
They act like he's a super.
Consider where he was drafted. He's definitely not lived up to that draft status.
Yeah, I'll even admit I wanted him in that draft. I actually wanted Kevin White. Honestly, Kevin White was a monster.
Oh, thank God we didn't get Kevin White.
Hey, Kevin White just signed with New Orleans.
Well,
yeah, but
that's how desperate they are for receivers.
Devontae's
that's
Jerry
how
Rice
desperate they
compared
are.
to Kevin White
But I'm saying that's how desperate they are for receivers.
Yeah. So
you know what I think it is, reason?
Hold on, let Dylan make his point, then you can go Fins for life.
Sorry about that.
Is I wanted the dude, right? Because I actually thought, going into that draft, I realized we weren't going to be in position to get Kevin White, even though I preferred him as a player. So I was like, okay, Devontae Parker, and I was super pumped when we got him, and I have his jersey, right? But the reality is that while he can produce when he's on the field, he's just never on the field, and what are you going to do with that? It's pretty super useless to your team. But unless they can find a trade partner, we're kind of stuck with him and hope that he stays healthy this year.
Go ahead, Fins. Sure. Go ahead, Fins for life. Make your point, buddy.
I just think that people say we're not good at drafting offensive linemen. Well, I got news for everyone. We're not good at drafting wide receivers. And then he finally had one good year that we waited for what, 5 years?
Let's see how Waddle does.
Hey, but you want to know
the best.
It's DVP's fault because remember when?
Hold on, let him finish his point. I don't think he's done his point.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, he just had one good year, and then everybody said, "Oh man, here he is, Devontae Parker, the one that we drafted from Louisville 5 years later, and we're back at the same ankle problem. He brought his bad ankles with him." And to be honest with you, I just don't think he's that tough. I think he could be out there 50% more of the time than he is. But that's just my opinion.
We'd probably be better off with Terrell Owens. Go pick up his old ass, bring him in. He wants to play.
Yeah, he wants to come back.
Hey, y'all remember
wants to come back.
Y'all remember when Chris Chambers tried to help DVP with a routine to help keep him healthy, and he got mad about it?
Yeah, he said no. Yeah.
I was.
That's his fault.
That draft.
It is Jarvis Landry.
That draft to me will always be the Todd Gurley draft. I was all in on Todd Gurley. Thought somehow he would fall to us. It's crazy because his injuries got him before Devontae even.
I wanted Todd so bad. I wanted
oh my
Gurley
god,
so bad in that draft.
so bad. And the thing, Devontae Parker, I was never on that train, and not more. It was because of naivete. I didn't know a lot about Devontae Parker. Obviously I knew who he was, but my point was it's not a player that I really cared about even through the process. But when I got to see Devontae Parker, and I'll never forget, Omar does that stupid 1st and 10, and he asked him who his favorite actor was. And Devontae Parker, completely serious, said SpongeBob. And I'm like, this kid just isn't mentally ready to be a professional football player.
Dude, look at this. I posted on Instagram when we drafted Devontae Parker, April 30th, 2015, because I was so hyped when we got him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just been such a...
Yeah, I loved the pick. It was like the only time ever that they picked the player I wanted to pick, and it just,
failed.
But I think the problem, I don't, just contrary to what was said, I don't think Devontae isn't tough. I think Devontae's problem is he's one of the worst nicked up players I've ever seen. You might as well throw him away when he's nicked up. He can't play. He can't produce. If he's not playing at 100%, and that's improved a little bit over the last season and a half, where he's got out on the field and did something, but it wasn't even, Devontae's hurt. It's when Devontae's hurt, he performs.
That's what he means when he says he's not tough, because he doesn't play through some minor injuries.
But he does play through them, as far as I'm concerned, and he gets on the field and he tries, but he just doesn't perform. And I think part of that is because he relies so much on his skill set, because he doesn't have incredible top end speed. He doesn't take the top off of defense. He doesn't create much separation. So, he really needs to be physically 100% to go.
Todd, you are not lying. This guy has he plays videos and watches SpongeBob and eats hamburgers. He has a SpongeBob keychain. I'm looking at 2015 articles and stuff about him, in his infatuation. You are not even lying.
Oh no,
growing up into this day, I've always loved cartoons, with SpongeBob being my favorite show. Wow.
No, and he meant it. It was like De Niro, Pacino, SpongeBob. It was not I like cartoons. I like SpongeBob. I play poker, and my little card protector's a little SpongeBob that my son, who's now 14, gave me when he was 4. And it's my little card protector at the poker table. But this guy was De Niro and SpongeBob.
Liking SpongeBob is one. Yeah, liking SpongeBob is one thing, but to say that he's your favorite actor is a different thing.
And it just and then
now it makes sense why he wanted
immaturity.
He wanted that nephew cartoon series. Now that all makes sense to me.
He's got a tattoo of it. Yeah.
Oh, I just saw something about Hurts.
Okay.
He said he wasn't feeling good when he arrived at the stadium.
Yeah, he went to the hospital.
Totally out of left field when we're talking about Devontae Parker and SpongeBob.
Yeah, and you didn't even get the full thing either. He went to the hospital, he was sent to the hospital too. So with stomach pains.
Last year, I will give him credit though. Last year he tried to fight through the injury and almost had 800 yards.
Yeah.
How about when they found out Devontae wasn't eating breakfast? Do you guys remember that? He used to show up at, he'd show up at practice and camp and whatever, and he was constantly dehydrated, and they found out he doesn't eat breakfast. He's a child.
He literally doesn't take care of himself.
Yeah, he's a child, but it's immaturity.
Exactly
It's not. It was just immaturity. It was, it was almost like Vontae Davis when he wanted to call his grandma. It was, you looked and you went, he's just not mature enough to be a professional athlete on his own. It's that, and you could see.
Maybe he doesn't really want to be a professional athlete. I don't know. Maybe he just wants to be the SpongeBob loving kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And collect money for not playing.
He wanted to cash in first. I'll tell you what, I would
Cash
literally
in.
be calling up Jeff Ireland and being like, look, I'll give you Devontae, I'll give you Jakeem Grant, and I'll even throw in a first-round pick for Tariq Armstead.
No, I wouldn't want Armstead.
Why not?
Why not?
Isn't he getting up there? No, isn't he getting up there in age?
He's around 30, but he's like one
I'm
of the
okay
best.
with
left
that.
tackles
Yeah.
in
What's
the
his
NFL.
salary? What's his salary
That's a
cap?
lot.
He's about to be a free agent.
Okay,
We
well,
have
then I
the
would do it.
capital, and he's
But
proven.
I wouldn't get. I don't know if I'd give up. I don't know if I'd give up a first round pick though.
Yeah, first round pick, Parker and Grant.
I might do a second round pick. The following year, when we have 2 firsts.
Yeah.
I don't know. They just need to. I don't know.
I got in late, yo.
I mean, it's
How
just
was
not a-
practice today?
It's pretty good. Pretty
It
good.
was pretty
Yeah,
good.
pretty
The
good.
offensive line showed up.
Wow.
Still got beat a few times, but they played pretty good. The one thing I've noticed, though, I don't know, have you guys noticed this trend that every time we do the 2-minute drill at the end of every joint practice or practice, we can't punch it in? Am I the only one who's noticed this?
No.
You know what scares
yeah.
me?
I mean,
Is our new running back reminds me of Jordan Howard 2.0.
Which one?
Malcolm
Scarlet?
Brown.
Oh, Malcolm Brown.
Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ramondre Stevenson was having a good night.
Again?
Yep.
For is he again?
Those running backs, bro.
Dude, I wanted that guy so bad.
Yeah.
I think I had him 6th or 7th on my big board.
Their running game is gonna
So
be
good.
Their running game is gonna be pretty nice. We're gonna have to be able to stop the run in week 1 for sure.
Bro, look at the investment they make. Sony Michel, first round. That's why people are like, oh, the Patriot way. They go by committee. Sony Michel, first round pick. Well, Damian Harris, wasn't he a 2nd or 3rd round pick?
Second, I believe.
Ramondre Stevenson, wasn't he a 3rd round pick?
4th, I think.
4th. Bro, these guys, we don't fucking do that.
No.
Like, come
No,
on.
we consider taking them in the first round, and when we don't get them, we just don't take one. We're like, oh shit, we missed on a running back. We'll just go with what we had.
Yeah, we missed on
We needed
everything in the draft.
We need one so bad we want to take one with our first round pick, but since we didn't get that one, we just don't take one.
Until
Yeah.
round 7 where we
Right.
got Dokes, to be fair. But yeah.
You know what they
guess
said?
we
Oh,
missed
maybe
on
we'll
running
hit on,
backs.
maybe we'll hit just like we did on Gaskin. We'll hit with another 7th round pick. It's like, come on, man. But Dokes' film is actually decent. Like, I'm surprised he's dropped as many footballs as he has in practice, because if you go watch him at Cincinnati, he had really soft hands.
Yeah, everybody's raving
I
about.
think he's just got some rookie jitters, to be honest. I really
Say,
think this is
what were you going to say about raving, Todd?
About Ahmed, catching the ball. He's just. It looks
Bro.
like he's really taking it to the
If
next
that
level.
guy could be a competent blocker, holy God, we would have struck gold.
Mm-hmm.
Ahmed is going to be a beast this year and putting up some numbers, I think. Especially out the backfield as a receiver. There's not a linebacker that will be able to keep up with him.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing
not at
peculiar
this
about his
point.
pro day. He ran obviously must
Like
have
a
been injured.
4.6, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a
Yeah, but
4.35 guy.
Hey,
Yeah.
but
I
there's a difference between football speed and just going out there and running the 40.
No. No. Like, it's 4.6 is a massive drop off from what you see
True.
on field with this guy, bro. Like, it'd be different if you like a half a second to
Well,
like
you also,
3/4 of a second.
Remember what the players that were breaking records this year said? It was easier to run the 40 when they don't have all the other stuff to do beforehand. How they were all breaking records.
Dude, shaving off 0.3 seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't care how tired you are,
4.35 makes you 4.35 or 4.37's elite speed, and 4.6 is I don't know if I want him in my running back room. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the difference.
Yeah,
Well,
especially at his size, right? Especially
Right.
at his size.
But you never know. You also could have been having a great workout or getting himself in shape and doing well now. He could have improved his speed.
Well, hey,
But
yeah,
you
look,
could see his
at the end of
10
the
yard,
day,
20 yard.
That is a significant leap in speed, though.
Yeah.
Bro.
Then what would it be for him to time out so
He was
bad?
injured. We just talked about it. Injured.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, sub
Because
4.4
prior to
is
the
elite.
prior to the combine, when he was at the Husky combine, he ran a 4.32.
Yeah,
At
I mean,
the
sub
watch
4.4 is elite.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
damn.
Oh man, he's
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, he's way
Yeah,
Yeah, I
faster.
mean, that's
look,
faster than Kenyon
See,
Drake. You know, I
that's
mean,
just what I was
Literally
gonna
a
say.
track meet out
significantly
there.
faster.
What I was
That's a
going to say
track
was he's not right now, but I think he will at some point pass Gaskin for the #1 role.
The
I think
problem
he'll-
is Gaskin's a
If he
very
follows
good
under.
blocker.
Right.
That's the
But
problem.
Yeah.
That's
But
where
that's-
Ahmed's got to be able to pick up. If he picks up blocking, like he's picked up in the pass catching, and he's already a really good runner. So if he does pick up the blocking, like you're thinking he could, then why wouldn't he?
But
Because he gives that home run speed. You got to put your best player out there.
That's
the
what I
field.
love about the construct of our skill position, though. You know, we almost protect him as a blocker because with who we can put on the field, it's like, do you really want to send somebody the back needs to pick up? I mean, you think of the speed that we can put on the field when you think of what we can run on offense with Ahmed in the backfield and Waddle and Wilson and Fuller on the field. It's how do you defend it? I mean, most teams don't have one guy that can keep up with a sub 4.4 guy, and we're looking at putting 4 or 5 of them on the field at one time.
Can you imagine us pulling up, putting a 4 receiver set with Merritt, Wilson, Fuller, and Waddle out there?
Fuck it, go empty set, put
Right.
Ahmed up on the line too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Because Ahmed's a very good catcher too, and
Right.
route runner
Yeah.
too, right?
When
That
you
would
think
be
of what you can
scary as
run,
a
reason
defense.
you think of what you can run with Waddle underneath and Ahmed releasing from the backfield. You know what I mean? And how do you defend it? How? What? And like I said, in Tua, it's such an easy read at that point when you have, you know, I mean, he looks at the defense and he knows where Waddle's going and he knows where Ahmed's going, and it's going to take it's one read.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey,
the way that
reason
you
got a
defeated
Jet fan talking crap about Tua over in the chat section.
whatever.
Yeah, I saw
the way,
that.
The way you defeated
Well,
it is
like
get to the
first of
quarterback
all,
in under 2
I'm getting rid of
seconds.
him because the first word in his name is actually pretty freaking racist. So goodbye. I'm not even going to repeat that word. Barry Bailey, reason, can you ask Richmond if he wants to go down and work with AJ? Brother, Richmond's supposed to come down in early October for the Legends game. And he's not even coming down because of the Delta variant. So AJ's on his own this year.
He's on his own.
Hey, reason, would you want to
on an island, AJ Island?
Would you want to package up a trade maybe with Green Bay too to get AJ Dillon?
I want to tackle before I'm going to start trading for other positions.
True.
The only other position I would trade for is a center.
Yeah. Secure the line.
Pretty good though.
To be honest
Because
with
you know what? You know what? If I could get a proven center and Dieter becomes my depth, he could be center or guard if someone goes down.
Yeah.
Because look at our guard depth. Look at our guard depth. You got Illuminor, and then what? You got fucking Robert Jones? Come on.
You're
I don't
right.
want to go
I
there.
agree with that.
Dieter's not starting at center. I think he should start at left guard because I think he has the capability of being the best one on that side that we got, because when the limited time he was in last season when through injury, he was moving people. He's been moving people in this preseason. I would be putting him at guard and getting, you know, a top flight center, and that would be different. That's what I would do. I wouldn't even put him as a backup. I would start.
I've actually been impressed with Skura. Scary
and
thing
that's
to
what's
say. I've
crazy.
actually been
He was
impressed
on the
with
third
Skura.
team. He was on 13 today. That's what I don't understand.
Yeah,
because he was good in that Chicago game.
Yeah, I mean, like when it comes to Dieter, like I've said, he's been a pleasant surprise for me, but it's only been a couple weeks through the preseason. I mean, I need to see a lot more consistency and take that into the regular season.
Yeah,
and Todd too. So hold on, sorry, T.
Yeah,
I would trade. The only running back I would trade for is Kareem Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
that's my guy.
Yeah,
Same.
But I don't think Kansas City would be getting.
And the only one you could maybe make me trade for is Tony Pollard.
Mm-hmm.
He's a beast.
AJ Dillon, I I love the kid, but trade for AJ Dillon.
You get
but he'd
mad.
be third on the list.
Hey, his only start last year, he had 100 yards. And the thing I like about him is against stacked boxes. What was he? And with our defense, with the offensive line that we have,
stop trying to steal my stats, Todd.
He would still be able to break. He would still be able to break tackles if our lineman failed on a block. And
Stop
that's the one thing I like
stats,
about
Todd.
it.
It's frustrating thinking about trading for every guy that you talked about drafting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but did you see what happened to Devin Jenkins?
Every single one of these guys, reason prior to a draft, you're like, I'd take him, and they just blow right past him.
So here you go.
Reason was the GM.
Hold on
If Reason was the GM, we would have a Super Bowl trophy coming up.
AJ Dillon, at Boston College again, which I'm surprised they didn't take him because of the whole Flores thing, right?
Right.
Against stacked boxes, he had 240 rushes. The second closest to him was 145. In terms of most yards against a stacked box in his career, and this is like coming on the draft, that draft year, right? He had 1,236 yards against stacked boxes. Number 2 was Jonathan Taylor with 745, but technically number 2 was AJ Dillon again because he had 823 after contact against stacked boxes.
Mm-hmm.
In his career against stacked boxes, 636 attempts, 3,197 yards, 2,154 yards after contact, 33 touchdowns, 139 first downs, 133 missed tackles forced, and only 2 fumbles in 636 attempts against stacked boxes. That's fucking ridiculous. I don't even think people realize how crazy that is.
He'd be the perfect back for this team with this O-line right now.
Well, you can get Malcolm Brown. I can fucking call him an Uber and get him out of town.
Yeah. I want to see what Jordan Scarlett has on Saturday.
That would be nice.
Yeah, Jordan Scarlett looked like he got more to his game than Malcolm Brown right now. That's for sure.
But that's what I'm saying. With the way our offensive line is, that's the type of running back we would want to have.
Yeah, or James, or like what are they doing in Jacksonville with Robinson and Etienne?
Etienne.
I haven't heard much about those two.
Because James Robinson, I'd be all over that one.
Yeah, but Etienne is not looking good right now up here. They're talking about
good because I wasn't high on the kid.
They're talking about him being possibly a bust.
I was not that high on that kid. I had him as my running back 3, but like weary about it. Because I remember Klump being like, oh, he's the best running back. I'm like, are you fucking crazy right now? Javonte Williams and Najee were in different stratospheres compared to Travis Etienne.
Right.
Yeah, Etienne is not doing well, so it looks like Robinson's going to keep his spot.
Robinson's a beast, man. Like UDFA.
Wow. Yeah, we'll see.
Well, don't worry, guys. We're going to sign... Don't worry. Out of all this, we're going to sign Tim Tebow because we need another tight end on the team.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, my God. Did you see that block that he threw that went viral?
Yeah,
bro.
That's going to
be almost fell over laughing.
That's going to be their answer on the offensive line. Sign Tim Tebow as a tight end and then put him in just for an extra blocker.
Oh, my God.
I wouldn't want him running the Wildcat in our system. Okay?
Well, I wouldn't want to throw the ball. Have you seen that guy throw a football? I'm good. And I'm a Gators fan, and I'm telling you that.
I don't think he has any suitable position in any sport that ever existed.
He
go back to baseball.
He just needs to go.
He didn't even do good there.
Yeah, but at least he made double A. Didn't he make like triple A or double A?
Double A. Hit 232 in double A.
That's better. Hey, that's actually not 232.
That's what I mean.
All right.
The Tim Tebow hate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The Tim Tebow hate is a little, I mean, as far as he's
it's his
not
religion too. People come at him for his religion too.
Well, and listen, people just
same
don't
reason
like,
why Tua gets it. He's Christian,
right? They don't like the following and the, it's almost cult like the following that those guys have for the support. So the hate is even stronger. But Tim Tebow, yes, he can't play pro football and he can't play pro baseball, but. We're laughing, hitting 232 at double A ball after not playing baseball for 5 years is pretty impressive.
I gotta ask you, bro. Can Tebow play left tackle?
For our team,
give him a shot.
for our team, I'd welcome him.
Can we just
Give it a shot.
let's just do a carousel between Jackson, Little, and Tebow?
Have y'all seen his wife? He needs to go home and spend some good quality time with her.
I actually haven't seen his wife.
Yes,
Oh
but
my
after they
God,
watch a
look it up.
movie, what are they going to do?
Look it up. Oh, she was Miss some kind of universe. I don't know.
She's
She
beautiful.
won
I don't
some pageant.
care.
Oh my God, she is.
You know, speaking of Greg Little,
Good.
did you
Then go
hear,
home and play wiffle ball with your wife.
did you hear how he's been
Oh wow,
doing in
she is a
here?
dime. She's a dime.
The only other thing that I'll say about, and reason you're a Gator fan, so you know, the thing that's impressive to me about Tim Tebow is how much, like, the Pounceys and the Percy Harvins, the guys that, you know, you would think would be tired of Tim Tebow's shit if it wasn't genuine. You know what I mean? If it weren't, you know, and somehow they have the utmost respect for him.
He's a leader.
Right, but you know, like, I mean, he certainly doesn't fit with that Gator team. And yet the guys, they really do respect him, because it's, I mean, listen, I couldn't live like Tim Tebow, but it really is real with him. So it's like, you know, these guys that don't want to live like him probably even look at him side-eyed, just respect that it's actually who he is.
Yeah,
I don't know if you heard.
He was definitely celibate until he got married, for sure.
Oh yeah.
And so,
Well,
hey,
the
he picked a
Pounceys
wife
were
that
on
was the same as him.
the Pounceys were on the fish tank with McDuffie and whatever, and it was fun listening to them talk about that Florida team, and you know how it was a team that there was really nobody on the team besides Tebow that you'd want to date your daughter, but
Oh my God.
they talked about some of the funniest stuff. You know, the pranks they'd pull with Tim Tebow and stuff like that, and you know, it was just.
You know why? Because he'd be forgiving right away as soon as it happened.
Well, they
you know
said
what I mean?
they did a they turned around and Pouncey, you know, they told Tim Tebow he wouldn't be able to do a sit up if one of the Pounceys held a towel over his face and held him down. And of course, Tim Tebow, yes, I could. You know, I mean, I can do anything, and this, that, whatever. So, like, Mike pulled down his pants and stood and squatted over Tim, and Maurice held him, and then finally let Tebow go. And he just face planted in Pouncey's ass, and they videoed it and everything.
Oh.
And Urban Meyer was like, "Guys, that just can't hit the internet. You can't do that to Tim." But I guess he took it well, and you know, I mean, he was, but they say
what a brown noser.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm gonna get out of here, so let's go through some final thoughts. Dylan, let's start with you, buddy.
Thanks for having me. As usual, it was fun, good time, lot of laughs on this one, so it was fun. You know, take care of yourself while you're still getting better, and pump for this game on Saturday. Falcons, baby, let's go.
Yeah, I'll be live at about 6:30, guys, and then we'll get it rolling for 7 o'clock. Russell, your final thoughts, dude.
Man, fins up. Thanks for having me as always. Just ready for this game. I definitely hope to see some first step, hit the hole movements at running back, and hope to see some improvement from this O-line in particular. So that's about it from me, guys. Fins up. Y'all have a good night.
You too, buddy. Ron, your final thoughts, dude.
Yeah, I'm psyched for the season. I really can't wait to see Wilson and Waddle on the field at the same time.
Agreed.
And, you know, I just hope this O-line can somehow find some cohesion and gel together. Fins up.
Todd, your final thoughts.
Reason, thanks for having me. And I think this is the week that Tua absolutely takes control of the team. I think last week was about, you know, we were all excited to see him back on the field and you know, see if he looked different. I think this is the week that it's solidified and it's everybody realizes it's a whole different ball game. So I'm excited.
So am I, bro. Red Comet, your final thoughts. Or should I say thought?
Or not.
I didn't realize I was muted.
Attaboy.
So go ahead, then.
I just hope this O-line stay strong and just protect Tua, because I'm really worried about that left side with AJ.
Yeah.
And hopefully we win on Saturday.
Agreed. Todd, too, your final thoughts.
You know, I of course want the win, but I just want to see the first team dominate on both sides of the ball. That's what I want. I can care less about the third and fourth team when we're getting down to the end. I just want to see the first team dominate.
Vince for life, your final thoughts.
Appreciate you having me, Reason. Yeah, I just want to see Tua get a couple different looks from Atlanta's defense and see how he, reacts, see how the offensive line reacts.
Yeah.
I really want to see our first team defense throw a couple, maybe one or two little things out and see how good I know how good we are, but I'm excited about that. And like you said earlier about the Waddle and Wilson out there at the same time. And what else is next, man? I'm just looking for
add merit. Add merit.
Hey, Merritt, let's roll with them. Let's go. Hands up.
All right, guys. I'll be back on Saturday around 6:30 unless something breaks tomorrow. Again, if you want to join the $25 or the free fantasy league, just email me, Phinside@gmail.com. I'm already seeing I got a bunch of emails about it. So first come, first serve for both. Go ahead and email me, and we'll set it up. And we're going to be drafting after the third preseason game, but before the season starts. All right, guys? So I will see all y'all on Saturday night. Stay happy, healthy, safe, and blessed. And it's Fins up all day, every day.